Hey you guys, welcome back to Getting into Grad School, this series, and today we are going to talk about the importance of stats. What exactly are stats? I'm talking about your transcript, GRE score, what else? The TOEFL score, your GPA. Do those stats matter? And if so, how? This video won't be super long because we'll kind of be just breaking down why those do and don't matter depending on the program that you want to get into. So make sure to check the timestamps below if there is something you are specifically looking for. Most grad schools, no matter what the program is, will require you to submit an unofficial transcript, your GPA, and then if you are an international student, a TOEFL score. Now, although I am not an international student, I will link information below to describe what that test is and then why you should or should not be taking it. So make sure you click the link if you need more information on that. So a quick rundown on everything. Your transcript, very obvious. For any education that you got after high school, you're going to need to submit a transcript basically showing that you did go there and get your degree from there. But also it gives the school a chance to see what types of courses you've taken, how well you did in those courses, and in addition to that, your transcript will have your GPA. So you'll have to type your GPA into the actual application, but your GPA will be shown on your transcript. You might be wondering, what if my transcript doesn't look so hot, if my GPA is kind of low? Well, it's a sliding scale. So you might think a 3.5 GPA is low, but that's the average GPA for the fall 2022 class at my university. So that's pretty average. Or you may think even a 3.3 is a low GPA. You could still get into school. Most schools have a minimum GPA requirement of a 3.0, but a minimum does not mean that just because you meet that standard, you'll get selected or you'll automatically be considered for an interview. So you're always going to want to strive to do your best. However, and I'll talk about this in another video, if your transcript or your GPA is low, maybe because during a certain period of your life you were going through something and you struggled academically, you can kind of defend yourself in either your personal statement or an adversity statement. Again, I'll talk about those things in a separate video. All right, so let's talk about the TOEFL. In the last video I made about the application process, I talked a little bit more in detail about this score, and for the sake of not giving misinformation, I'm not going to deep dive into exactly what the expectation is for taking that exam. However, I will link below information for you to look into if you do need that as an international student. The purpose of that exam is to test your English skills if you're specifically applying to a school within the United States. If you were wondering maybe what an average score is or even what a minimum score is, my school, GSBS, we require a minimum score of 95. And all of these stats are public. This is not private. You can go to any school's website and you can find what their admissions rate was for maybe the previous semester, and that includes average GPA, average GRE score if that's accepted, and we're going to get into that. Same with the TOEFL score. All of that information is on there, even demographics of who makes up the student body and the faculty. Finally, the GRE score. This has been the biggest debate in academia. Is it important? Is it not? I'm going to, again, link an article by science.org that discusses why schools should and are getting rid of the GRE scores as part of the application process. The GRE exam in general is just an exam that's a standardized test, test your general knowledge on different subjects. you can look more into that, or even watch a video about how to take the GRE exam. I did not have to take it because it is not required for my school, and I will link an article from science.org to this video discussing why schools should and are getting rid of it. Basically, the article discusses how the exam doesn't show or predict the success rate of students when they're in grad school. So you can get a perfect score in the GRE and then still fail your classes or end up flunking out of school. And it also says it puts underrepresented minorities at a disadvantage because you never know what types of lengths someone must go to take the exam. It's not free, you have to pay for it. And because you have to pay for the exam, you're going to want to prepare. You're going to pay for study material and take classes. That's not something that's easily accessible to everyone. And let's say you have a super genius who may not be able to afford to take those classes, and they may not get as high as the score as they could, but they have all this experience in industry and academia. They do well in school. They just get nervous on test day, or there were a few concepts that they didn't have exposure to. Those types of things. That's why a lot of schools are starting to get rid of the GRE, or they're making it an optional portion to fill out on your application. As promised, this video was extremely short and brief to the point because that portion of the application is very short for a reason. That's not the most important thing when you're being considered to be a graduate school student. They look at your research experience or any other type of experience related to the program that you're applying to. So really make sure that you don't beat yourself up if you don't meet this super high expectation you have of yourself when it comes to your GPA, your transcript, any other type of standardized testing. Even if your school doesn't require the GRE, but you took it and it's optional and you think that'll just make the biggest difference in the world, those are not the big things that matter. Because if it was really important, they would make that a much bigger portion of the application. So I really hope that this was helpful. Make sure you stay tuned, like, comment, and subscribe for a new video next week. See you.